No, and in defence of Mark Selby, I mean,
Thank you.
every
The
player in the
second
game
frame.
looks methodical compared to Ronnie. So probably Ronnie has this problem with everybody looking like a cart horse compared to him. But actually, Mark Selby, when he gets around the table and gets in the zone, I think is a very attractive player to watch as a snooker player. Fascinating how he goes about it in a different way to Ronnie O'Sullivan. But you know, we've sort of half nicknamed him the Hoover. He just sucks the balls up, and he really is fascinating to watch. He's a predator at the table.
He is indeed. OK, frame 2.
Well, not the best break-off from Mark Selby, that's for sure. Given Ronnie a very good opening red to have a knock at here.
Well, if Mark Selby's known as the Hoover, John, I think Ronnie O'Sullivan would have to nickname him Super Dyson, because he doesn't take long at sweeping them up.
A little bit betwixt and between with his positional play here. Obviously not got a great angle on the blue, gone a little bit too far for that, and just off straight on the yellow. Well played. Some of these shots that he plays, he makes them just look so easy, Dennis, doesn't he? They just, you know, just off centre, punched it through, widened the angle, perfect.
And immediately up to the business end of the table, got himself onto the black. Not a good bunch to go into from
11.
the black, the way they're sitting there.
12.
Tried to develop a couple of reds, but it hasn't made a great deal of difference there. It's not a straightforward chance just yet. All depends on this next shot. He's got an angle on the black to play a cannon. He's just making his mind up to see which of the reds he should cannon onto. He's played a delicate little one. Has he held it, or has he gone just a bit too far?
19.
Just okay, yep.
Well, wants to leave himself a half ball, and that's exactly what he's done. Has a choice here. He's got 3 reds on the left-hand side that he can play for, or he could play into the pack, Dennis.
Well, knowing Ronnie, mind you never know with Ronnie. Most of the time he'd play the cannon straight onto the pink full ball. Other times he'll just decide to pick them off. Depends how he feels. Didn't catch the pink full ball. Needs a bit of good fortune.
25.
Just watch the white. It's caught the pink on the thin side. That was the reason he didn't spread them around the table.
And when you play that shot and you don't hit it right, Dennis, you think to yourself, why didn't I play on the 3 loose reds?
Well, this is the type of red he knocked in the opening frame and made 68 off it. That just shows you how tough the shots are.
OSullivan, 25.
I'd forgotten about that Welsh final when Ronnie said at his interview afterwards that he was getting a bit bored. I think he was just a little bit out of order there, Ronnie, because Mark Selby made a remarkable comeback from 8-5 to beat him 9-8, and I think Ronnie should have just held his hand up and congratulated Mark on that occasion. But that's Ronnie, and that's why he's fascinating to listen to. That's why he's fascinating to watch. So maybe that's why there's a little bit of needle, maybe.
There's Hawkeye's view, and Ronnie's just asking Jan Verhaest just to have a look at where the ball's positioned, because he's going to play a thin shot here, so he wants Jan to know exactly where that cue ball is in case he doesn't quite make any contact.
Very good. Excellent shot.
Outstanding.
In the safety department, it doesn't get much better than that, John.
Shot of the match so far.
And this is going to be equally as difficult. Thin off this red. There's another cracker. It was nice to see a very generous round of applause for that. But for both players with their tactical play at the moment, the crowd are certainly enjoying this. Nice to see the big breaks, but it's nice to have a mixture. Well, look at that. There wasn't much sticking out there, was there?
And another excellent safety shot from O'Sullivan. There's the one before. Fabulous. Just to get that perfect contact right back on the line. You can see his cue there just coming away exactly where he wanted it to finish. And of course he's just played another one, Dennis, and this is a real tester for Mark Selby. Got to make sure he misses balls here.
Well, he didn't miss those balls, as you mentioned, John, and he's left one to the middle pocket. So Ronnie O'Sullivan wins that tactical battle there.
One.
Delicate little cannon required here. If he plays the cannon on that red, would do nicely. It would open things up. Could have been better.
6.
It's got one to the middle, but I think he tried to cannon the other red, the one to the right there. So you can pot this in the middle, but he's just running away from the potting angle on the black. Gonna have to use the other red, and that's difficult.
Can't honestly see how he can get on a colour here. As he absolutely punches the red in the centre pocket and plays a cannon on the other one and runs it through. Tricky shot.
That's what he's looking at, and it really is a tricky shot.
Not so sure percentage wise it's the right one. I know when you get a chance like this and you've cannoned into a few balls, you feel as if you deserve to be on something, but the way the match is at the moment, and he's keeping Mark Selby away from the table, I think he probably needs to keep that up. Be a bit more prudent to play the safety shot.
And that's exactly what he's going to do now. He's up to almost, well, just coming up to 1 minute and 20 seconds again of thinking time. and he's refusing the pot. I would have to agree with this choice.
Ronnie O'Sullivan 6.
Do you think Ronnie's trying in this final, John?
I think he's very focused, and I think he's trying to stamp his authority on it very quickly. Mark Selby's been coming to the table in the safety exchange, and every time he's come here he's had a headache. There's always been something that's been in the way or a problem. And here's his latest headache, courtesy of Hawkeye.
Hawkeye would give anybody a headache. I know it gives our director a bit of a headache every now and again. But it's great to have it. You know, you can show what the player's looking at from the back end of the table. It really is very clever what they can do these days.
Clean pot, beautifully struck as ever. Cue ball's run a little bit further than he would have liked, but still expect him to knock this in the centre pocket.
Eight. Nine.
Well, Mark Selby has had precious little to go
16.
at in this final so far.
17.
Ronnie is not taking any undue risks, and when he's like this, he's so tough to play against.
Well, it's a pretty good recipe, Dennis, isn't it? Play the best safety shots you can play, and then when you get in, score as many points as you can. You might be dangerous to beat there.
Well, it's the way Steve Davis
25.
played throughout the 80s. He made enough to win the frame, and if he hadn't got anything on, you were playing off the baulk cushion every time. And the only way you can beat a player when they're playing like that is you've got to play a good safety shot
32.
to try and get that chance to get in. Still got the perfect angle. He can play it back in between the pink and red if he wants here. Nice little stun shot with a bit of side. Just a slight misjudgment there. But he's already 71 ahead. There's only 67 on the table. And is he playing the double here? No, he's keeping it tight, John.
No, he's not playing the double. He's absolutely trying to keep it tight.
Well, that last shot tells you a lot about how Ronnie O'Sullivan's thinking. Yeah, it looks as if this red pots, so that's definitely the end of second frame.
1.
And I don't think he'll be playing any exhibition shots here, John. He'll just be trying to,
8.
as we say, mop them up.
I think it's A game in operation today, Dennis.
9.
And it's A game focus as well.
16. 17. 17.
First
and frame.
careless shot from Ronnie, but he
O'Sullivan.
won't be too bothered about that. Mark Selby has had precious little to go at. Ronnie O'Sullivan takes the second frame. It was a break of 40 this time, but he leads 2-0.